Well, hello YouTube. It has been a very long time. I apologize that there has been no videos. I moved my shop and things have just been really crazy in my life. I've given you excuses before, but here we are with another video. So recently I was having a conversation with another one of the moms at my daughter's preschool, and she was bummed that the preschool did not offer school portraits like their old ones had. So we began talking, and with me moving my shop, I've kind of expanded my business and I'm trying to do more portrait photography. So I thought, what way to better kind of get word out about my business and to contribute to the community of these parents by doing some school photos for the school. So I worked it out with the school to do it. Now I went online to try to figure out kind of the easiest lighting situation since I'm still fairly new at portrait photography. And I couldn't really find that much that was super basic. So I just kind of went by how I thought it should happen and took some equipment and ended up with some great photos. This is my lovely daughter, Olive, and hers. And I wanted to just kind of give you guys a quick run through of what I did in case you are interested in doing something similar to this. So I'll show you the gear real quick and tell you the camera settings that I used. I'm not gonna have video from the actual shoot because it was kind of chaotic with, a dozen toddlers running around, and I was the only one there besides the two teachers, and they had, to help with the kids. So I wasn't able to shoot anything there, but I can walk you guys through what I did pretty easily. So here we go. All right, so this is the backdrop I used. I set up in their driveway. I set up outside so I would have as little interference with their morning as possible. School starts at 8:30. I got there to drop my kid off and just started setting up. We did the shoot at 9. It was a Monday morning, which was a little bit hectic because some of the kids just kind of have a hard time getting back into the week. My kid is 4.5, so this is preschool. So yeah, I just set this up in the driveway. It was 9 a.m., so the sun was low, but it was actually overcast, so that did not really matter. But you'll want to try to avoid doing this when the sun is high up in the sky, just because I wanted natural, even lighting on the kids. Set this backdrop up. Any plain color will do just fine. You can use a wall inside their school. You're just gonna have a little bit more to deal with as far as natural light if you're in the school. Since we were outside and it was overcast, it was plenty bright, that I didn't need much from a flash, just a little bit. So I set this up about 5 feet tall, 5.5 feet tall. It's like 4 feet wide. Put a chair right in front just to have the kids walk up and sit down. Now, one thing I kind of regret is I put the chair like 2 feet in front of the backdrop. I would recommend pushing it out as much as you can just to give some more distance, and any shadows or anything from your lighting, it'll help keep them off of the backdrop. Put the chair at a slight angle just so the kid's body wasn't facing directly at the camera. This is the light that I used. It's a Neewer 2x3 softbox Bowens mount with a Flashpoint evolv 200. This is basically just a speed light on crack. And I use this on its lowest settings. You would be totally fine just having a speed light with this softbox. I just didn't know exactly what I was gonna need, so I generally bring this thing just because it's a little bit stronger. I brought 2 just in case, but I ended up being fine with just 1. So that's it. I set this up right beside the camera, pretty much a little bit above the kids, looking down at them slightly. Fortunately for me, none of the kids had glasses, otherwise I would have had to deal with reflection. But if in your case they do, I would maybe just ask them to take their glasses off for the shot. It's a little bit easier, but at the same time it's kids' portraits, so it's probably not that big a deal if there's a little reflection in their glasses. All right, so now let's go over the camera settings. So I used a Sony 85mm on my A7R4. It's more camera than you need, but it's just the main camera I use. Now I set my exposure just based on the ambient light. Because it was overcast, it just put a kind of a flat neutral light over the kids. So I went at ISO 200, f2.8 because I wanted a relatively shallow depth of field. But in case the kids were moving a little bit, I didn't go as shallow as I could have. So I went f2.8. ISO 200, and my shutter speed was 1/125th of a second. Now I set that shutter speed just because the natural light and how I wanted the exposure. And I also knew it would be quick enough that if the kid did slightly move, that it should prevent any blurring from that slight movement. Now the flash was set at 1/128th of a second, as light as it could be. And all it did was just add a tiny little bit of fill to the kids' faces. And that's it. I mean, it took like 10, 15 minutes. I sat at the camera, I had a stuffed animal of my daughter's that I would hold up above the camera and just ask the kids to look at the stuffed animal. It's kind of a little bit easier than asking them to look directly at the camera. They were all super happy to accommodate, and yeah, it went great. I was done in like 10, 15 minutes, another probably 45 minutes to an hour to process them, and that was it. Then I threw them all in an Adobe Lightroom album, sent it to the school, and they sent that link out to the parents so they could all look at the pictures and download the one that they wanted. So that's all there is to it. Super easy pictures of your kids at school. Thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful. If it was, please thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel, questions, comments below, and have a great day. We'll see you next time.